Hello, humans of Earth! You may not know that recently I have been very interested in making teeny tiny things. So I decided to make this teeny tiny thing out of a not so teeny tiny kitchen jar. First I sketched out my design with a pencil, and then I primed it with black Mod Podge. I'm not really sure if it does anything, but I have to use black Mod Podge at least once before I'm an official diorama maker person thing. Then I painted the grass green, the dirt brown, and the path grey. I painted some Matchsticks green to use in a second. Next I add the dirt to the brown areas. I cut up my green matchsticks without measuring, and these will be my hedges. I wanted to make the gardens a bit formal, so I looked at some pictures of formal gardens and mashed a few ideas together. Imagine mash made from formal gardens. You'd get bits of leaf and wood lice and dirt and slugs in your teeth. Excuse me while I go puke. I put my foot in my boot the other day and my toe touched something slimy and sticky which turned out to be a slug. I made a really cute bench out of a matchstick and put it in a little secret garden with a tall hedge. I cut some copper wire into even pieces and bent each one around a brush handle to make arches. I tried for 10 minutes to get them to stand up. In the end, I lined them up on a strip of blue tack and glued more wire across the top to stick them together. Next is the best bit of any diorama. It's time for grass! It's time for grass! The grass was too long, so I cut it up a bit and started gluing it on. I don't have a static grass applicator yet, so instead I just tapped it upside down to shake off the extra and get it to stand up a bit. I wanted to put a little pond in front of the house, but I don't use resin, so I had to paint it on, which looked pretty awful, so I covered it up with flock later. I added a few more hedges, and now it's time for the main event, the house. Gluing the house together was pretty difficult. The worst part was the roof. It was so hard to get the two gable roofs to intersect nicely. I ended up with an ugly gap and a wonky roof, so I fixed both problems with some clay. Then I added some wire to the tops of the roofs because I thought it would look nice. I made another bench to put at the side of the house, but it fell apart, so I made it into a picnic table instead, which is actually way cuter. I added some blossoms to my wire arches and then began to add flowers to the garden. To make the flowers, I bought Scatterflock on Amazon and it was surprisingly cheap for the amount I got. It was a nightmare trying to get these stupid trees to stand up. I added the arch, painted the roof, and voila! Time for the overly epic slow-mo shots of the house spinning on a lazy Susan with a grey background that's almost black but not quite, so that it looks more epic than just having a black background, because having a black background is a little bit boring.